and welcome to Truth Be Told with Revenge. Thank you guys for tuning in, and today we're going to talk about religion. So, boys, for you guys who are religious, what do you guys think about religion and the lifestyle we live?
Wait, who's religious over here, first of all?
Spiritual or religious?
Spiritual. There is
No,
a difference.
who's religious? We know what's spiritual.
I have a relationship.
Okay.
Okay, let's fix that.
Okay.
Because I feel like whenever you say religious, it always goes back to the traditional side, because religion came from just the back in the old days, the traditional.
But what do you mean by traditional?
Traditional. Christianity.
Okay.
I mean, whatever you believe in, it can come from traditional. So for me, Christianity, I had to learn how to bridge away from the religious aspect, which was, being stuck in a box.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to act a certain way, you have to look a certain way, you have to do things a certain way, which was traditional, and I got that from my family. But once I started believing in God and having a personal relationship, that's when I started bridging away from the religious aspect and finding more of a relationship with God for who He loves me for.
Okay.
So you think religion has a negative connotation?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, mine is kind of more like a question, but to answer your question and saying that you think religion is more like, I think yes and no. I think now, are we talking about like Christianity or just religion?
Well, whatever religion that you choose to practice.
Well, I grew up Christian, so that's and I do consider myself a Christian, but I do, in my whole experience, I feel as though when you talk about Christianity and when you talk about sexual orientation, there's a big block there. When it comes to homosexuals, we all know, in terms of Christianity or in terms of any religion, Muslim, when it comes to homosexual, it's oh no, this is there.
They can't cross.
So my thing is is it possible to still be religious or still be in your faith, whatever it may be, and still be a homosexual?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think so.
I think it's just that I think that not even young, but gay people or people who live an alternative lifestyle, I think we focus more on what the outside people are saying than what we believe and who we are supposed to be worshiping. Because, like you say, you have your relationship with God, and nobody can contest that. Nobody can come in between that. But we spend so much time dealing with what people are saying about how we should be, who we should love, what we should wear, what we should do, that we let that get in the way of our relationship with whichever God we choose to worship. And I think it's totally possible for someone to be homosexual or whatever they want to be and worship whoever they want, because I believe that everybody should coexist. So no matter what you practice or who you believe in, who you are shouldn't matter.
So why is it such an issue, even in 2014, now in this age, why is it such an issue when it comes to homosexuals wanting to be in the atmosphere of be in church or just worship God or be free to express their love for whatever religion it is? Why is it such a huge thing? Why is that an issue?
Because there's still, from what I'm experiencing, there's still a lot of resistance to change. Mm-hmm. And believe it or not, there are a lot of homosexuals, since that's, what the black church wants to put on a pedestal. There's a lot of undercover and outed homosexuals in the black church. Yeah. And the fact that you're seeing so many people coming out and being free about it and understanding that, you still have your seasoned, Christians in the church, but a lot of your seasoned Christians are starting to understand that because of who they are as a person does not mean that they're not godlike, does not mean that they do not believe in God, because you would be surprised how many Christians, quote unquote black Christians, and to go even further, homosexuals in the church know more than just the heterosexual connotation behind Christianity, which is surprising because if you think about it, I would say 85% of the black church is gay.
Hello.
And it's been proven because you are seeing a lot of churches, being filled with a lot of gay guys, gay women. Why? Because I'm gay, I can recognize another gay. Whether you're down low or not, I know your story. But I'm not going to sit up here and say, oh, well, you are going to hell because you... No. And that's the reason why 85% more of the gays have left the church, because we've been so, bashed for being gay. How can you not love me when in the Bible says that you need to love your brother as thou shalt love thyself. So how can you, bash me for being gay, but yet you're supposed to love me?
I feel like one of the reasons why that happens is because when you get your own relationship with whatever you believe in, it becomes such an intimate thing, and it becomes something that you do feel so sure in. So when you see something, regardless of what I believe, if I believe along with everything else that I believe that that we all are connected or whatever, if a part of that is that I believe that something is wrong, whether that's homosexuality or anything else, if I see something else that goes against that, then I'm probably gonna feel some type of way about it, regardless of what it is, because what I feel, I know is so real. So it's so I think it's so hard for us to perceive that anybody else could be feeling anything else that's different, because it's like, no, I feel this, I know this is real. So how can anyone else feel anything else differently because I'm that secure in it? So I think that's where the prejudice stems from, because they're like, well, no, this is what I believe, and what I feel is real. I know what I feel is real, and you can't tell me that what I don't feel is real. So if I believe this, then, for that person, it's real to them, and that, I don't empathize with that at all. But I feel like that's where it comes from,
I agree with that.
You guys, because I heard you talk about sin, whatever, and it just made me. Do you guys feel that homosexuality is a sin?
No.
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 Because we wouldn't be doing it. Like,
No,
that wouldn't be
because
in our
Lust is a
mind.
sin regardless of whether you're gay or straight, whatever that
Period.
label means.
Right. I would
But,
say
yeah.
me being gay has really been the best thing that has ever happened to me. Besides me being born into this world, having a supportive family, having supportive friends, I feel like if I wasn't gay, I don't know where I would be.
Yeah.
I don't know how Christopher would be acting if I was not gay. And then a lot of people who I have met, surprisingly, and the fact that they see that, I am connected to God and I'm building my relationship with Him, because there was a point in time where I did not have a connection with God, period. Because I did feel like, me being gay was such a hardcore sin because that's how I was raised. And when you really, as you grow older and you start researching and finding it more for yourself, you start to realize, well, no, because the fact that I'm gay is the fact that I'm gay. But it doesn't steer away the relationship that I have with God, because anybody who I have brought to my church and who I have brought to Christ has not, said, well, I'm not going to come to your church because you're gay. No, they came to Christ because they seen the relationship that I have with Him, and they see how open I am and comfortable I am with myself to see that. And they want to be in that same area and be in that same, center of other individuals who are just like me.
So, I work with the organization called AIDS Project Los Angeles at the Health and Wellness Center. And one of the main purposes of our job is prevention, and that's for STIs and HIV.
And I'm sorry to cut you off, but I just have a question, because you guys all work with APLA, and I feel as though in this day and age, like before I moved to LA, when I researched like the statistics of HIV and STDs, LA is like really high with a lot of the STIs, and to me, I'm just like, at this day and age, 2014, why are people still just like? It seems to me people are still like reckless with their sexual, like they don't care. It's like, oh, okay, whatever. They still want to have unprotected sex or do whatever they want to do, and I don't understand why at this day and age still that it's just like people are so reckless with their sexual
Well,
life.
for one, you got to think about preference. What do you like as an individual? And for two, if you look at more statistics, black people are only having sex with just black people. That just came to my knowledge recently. So it's like, if we're only keeping it in our community, of course it's just only going to be in our community.
And that's one of the main reasons why we're here. I'm sorry,
No,
Thomas,
go ahead.
but we are Revenge, and that stands for Reshaping 3 Letters HIV through the voices of the now generation. As we are the now generation, we're a young group of men trying to reach out to the community and our people and put the word there and give them the things that they need to know to protect themselves and prevent contracting HIV.
But do you feel as, because I don't know, I just feel as though like I feel like though if you guys don't put on a party or it's not like something where people can turn up, nobody cares. But if it's like a turn up, if it's like a pool party, that's when you can attract people. When I feel as though like people should just care to want to take care of them. So why do we have to do something that's like a party for people like in y'all generation to come out to, or else they're not gonna come out to it?
I feel like a big part of that too is just when you grow up, for those of us that did, get this, when you get told not to do something.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time I will still want to do that. Makes me curious on why I shouldn't do something. That's like when you're a little kid and your mother tells you not to touch the burning pot. You're like, oh wait, why shouldn't I touch the burning pot? And you touch it, you get burnt. You're like, oh, that's why I shouldn't do it. So with me, when I got older, I was told so much, you shouldn't have sex, and you shouldn't have gay sex, and you shouldn't do this, and you shouldn't do all these things. So it wasn't so much that I wanted to be, I guess because I was told not to do these things, but I wasn't necessarily told the reason why. It was like, just do this just because we say so. It sparked this curiosity in me. And it's like, okay, well, it still became something I was curious about, even if it wasn't something that I was like, I want to do this and I want to know. There was still that curiosity because it's like, okay, because I don't feel like there was a full conversation around that because, where I came from, they didn't want to talk about sex. They talk about it in the most politically correct way that they could, and that wouldn't answer all the questions that we'd had. If we asked a question like we would have these assemblies and stuff, we'd ask a question like, "What's the safest sex position?" They would have to say. The doctor that would come in would have to say no sex position because that's what they are. That's what they're supposed to say, and they couldn't be real with us. They couldn't tell us what it really was and be like, okay, well, da 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 da. Even if that's a weird question, they couldn't even engage with us on a level where it felt like they. They couldn't talk to us on a level where it felt like they respected us. It was like they were talking down and being like, no, you have to do this and you have to do this. It wasn't real. So when you get to these situations, it's like, okay, well, I'm just going to do with what I feel because there isn't anything that is really justifying what was being said. It was just said just because there wasn't anything else backing it up. There was no foundation underneath. So when there isn't that, it's so easy to just be like, oh, well, then I'm just going to do what I feel.
But I would just feel like a lot, where it comes from what I've been seeing and what I've been experiencing is just that, a lot of us as black gay men, a lot of us don't really know who we are because for three things: we're men, we're black, and we're gay. We already know that we're men and we're black, but I think the fact that once we start accepting the fact that we're gay is the part that we're still struggling with as a community. So for us to already be connected to HIV and be connected to all these other, sexually transmitted diseases, it's so much to take on that a lot of us don't care to hear about that. Yeah. Because we're fine with being black and men, some being black men and gay, but when we finally all come together as a whole and accept that we're all the same thing, whether we come from a different background, different lifestyle, or different family, generation, whatever the case may have been, that's when we'll be able to accept what's really the true meaning.
But I understand that, but I'm just, what does that have to do with, at the end of the day, your health, though? Like,
you have to think about it. This is LA. Mm-hmm. So when you think about health, that's not really a priority.
Right.
Why wouldn't that be a priority, though?
For most, it is, but for others, it's not. And that's LA, just the reality. And that's LA, because when you're in LA, you want to turn up, you want to be in the limelight, you want to be in Hollywood and stuff like that. But when you get out of that reality of the turn up and get into the reality of the real world, there's a lot of things that people just don't feel like dealing with, and people don't want to know the truth.
But that still doesn't answer the question, like, why would you not want to care about your health? Like, we understand you want to turn up.
Perception. Because that's not priority. That's not
in the family.
Where is everybody's perception?
Yeah.
As black people, we don't put our health first. And it's a generational thing. Because in our households, you are finding home remedies and you are running away from going to the doctor and you're not using your insurance. Some people don't have insurance.
So you're saying black people in general don't care about their health?
I'm not saying black people don't care about
their health. But the majority. It's not out of the top three, health would not be the top three.
Yeah, you gotta look at overall, because that's how everybody look at it. Overall.
Well, I disagree because I feel as though clearly I'm black.
Just you.
Yeah.
Just you.
That's one person.
That's one person.
No, I'm saying, in our community as black people, many of us don't put health first. We have men who have an egocentrism that they're not going to go to the hospital because they feel like they can overcome whatever is wrong with them. We have people that have symptoms that let their symptoms go by because they feel like, okay, it's been a week and my shit been burning when I pee, but it stopped last week, so I'm good. So your chlamydia just let you know that your body was fucked up, but because it gave you your symptoms and they went away, that bacteria is still there, and you're not going to go to the doctor because you're not burning anymore.
Just because you think in one way don't mean everybody collectively is thinking one way.
But that's my issue. Is like, okay, so we have black people who are like, oh, we don't care what this is that, and then like you look at the rates and the statistics, and it's just getting higher and higher every year, and you're like, so what's the point of APLA? What's the point of all these other AIDS organizations if people are still going to be like, well, we don't care about it?
Because we're reaching
one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because
We're
it's
reaching one. That's
it
all
starts
that-
with
that's all that
it starts with
matters.
one person. It starts little. It's not something that happens quickly, unfortunately.
And in our homes, we're
It's-
not taught about
is.
gay sex. We are taught about the birds and the bees, and that's from a
Yeah,
heterosexual
birds and the
standpoint.
bees.
But it's our job as people who are educated and seek the services that are offered to us and go get free testing and stuff
Yeah.
like that to give back to the community, because
Right.
that's why we have this. That's why we are Revenge, because we need to teach young black men that the 5 modes of transmission as far as bodily fluids are blood, semen, pre-cum, breast milk, and
Exactly.
vaginal fluids, whether you mess with girls or not. Those are things you need to know.
Right.
These are
Right.
things that aren't taught to our young men. So we're taught how to go get a bottle of Ciroc when we're under the age of 21, but we're not taught where we can go get free testing.
Exactly. And HIV is not a gay thing. It's a health thing.
But it's being
Period.
thrown on us.
But it's being
like,
thrown
ooh,
on us because
they
we're
got
the
HIV.
majority that have been contracting it. But at the same time, it starts with home.
Yeah.
So if home isn't teaching us that, then of course we're not getting the knowledge. So us being black and gay and men, us that do have the knowledge, it is our responsibility to spread the word, whether we teach 1,000 or whether we teach one person.
So do you feel as though people in our day and age are getting it? Do you feel as though like the tactics that are being made, the parties, the events that are being put on for people to be more aware of their health, do you feel like it's being effective? Like honestly, do you feel like it's
For
helping?
those who care.
For
Yeah.
those who are, yes.
It's not being effective, but
It's not
people
being
who are
effective how we-
conscious,
yeah.
they're starting to make more conscious decisions.
Yeah.
So reach one, teach one.
Because if you
it
think
all
about
starts
it,
with the conversations. It
Yeah.
starts all
Yeah.
these conversations, and I think that's where it really starts with. I mean, regardless of what's going on, I mean, you can have all these whatever posters or flyers or everything, but when it comes down to really talking to people about it, and the thing is, even with that pulls people in.
Yeah.
And at first it pulls people in that are more interested in it, people that can relate to it more. But then when those people start talking to whoever they're connected to, and those people start to connecting to whoever they're to, it grows and it
Yeah.
spans out. So then you end up reaching somebody that had no interest in it in the first
Yeah.
place because it went through all these other people. But that takes time.
Yeah.
And what's so good about us is that we come from all different areas of the gay community, of the black gay community, is that we all have our own ways of reaching out to our own friends. Like, I'm not going to be like, oh, I'm going to touch 1,000 people and tell people to go get tested. No. My job is to at least reach one person. Because if I feel like if I reached one person in my circle and outside of my circle, then my job is completed. And it starts with that one person, and that one person will be me.
Yeah.
Because I have to be, responsible enough for knowing that what I'm saying to you is that I'm living by it as well. So I cannot tell you, oh, go get tested, go whoop, 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 if I'm out turning up and doing, the totally opposite of what I'm preaching. And of course, we all make mistakes, but at the same time, all of us in our community are not, strong enough to be accountable for our actions. And that's the thing that we are still facing as the black gay community, is that we're not understanding of how to be accountable that we mess up. It's okay to mess up.
It is.
But at the same time, it's okay to know that you're messing up but moving forward.
Yeah.
Great. So what that means is that we all need to take accountability for our own actions, and we need to get tested. And don't be afraid. You need to be brave. You need to go to your nearest clinic. If you are anywhere near La Brea and Coliseum, please come visit us.
Right.
We are at 3717 South La Brea Avenue. You can give us a call at 323-329-9912. And follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Revenge. That's R3VNG.
All right.
You need to make sure that you take your part in fighting back and getting revenge on HIV, because it is not a game.
It's
And
not.
all of
It's
us need to
not.
take our own accountability for our own actions in this community.
Let's fight back, y'all.
Let's take revenge.
Catch us next week. We will be talking about great topics, and we want you guys to see what we got going on.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Make sure you follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Revenge. That's R3VNG. or give us a call at 323-329-9912. Next week on Truth Be Told.
Happened to Sherry
Don't
Shepherd.
nobody want to get robbed of their money.
Look what happened to
That's
Halle
why
Berry.
it's called
That's why it's called a 401k.
My thing is, I have a problem with people who have kids and they stop living because of something happened.
Gay divorce court couples, baby. Because that
Yeah.